This is how to cite an original database article, one that was originally published in a database. The databases you'll use that are like that are usually the ABC Clio databases and Encyclopedia Britannica. If you are citing an article from like the Gale U.S. History in Context database or maybe an ebook, stop this video and go watch the video about how to cite a previously published database article. When you are citing a database, so that's not something you Googled, that is something that you got to through the Dana Hall Library website. It's a resource that we have paid to have access to for you. You will choose Database from the drop-down menu in Noodlebib. Then Noodlebib will ask you what type of source are you citing from the database, because databases can contain lots of different kinds of sources, and you need to think about what kind of source it was originally. So again, stop here, and if the source that you're citing was originally an article from somewhere else, like maybe a reference source, an encyclopedia, or maybe it was a newspaper article from somewhere else, click on one of those rather than doing what we're going to do now because you're citing an article from ABC Clio American History. We're going to choose original content because everything in that database is only published in that database. There are 5 pieces of information you need to find to cite this kind of database correctly. The name of the database, the publisher of the database, the date this article was published, the author of the article, if there is one, and the title of the article. We'll start with the name of the database. The name of the database is in pretty much the same place as the title of websites. Here it is right up at the top. American History. Note that ABC Clio is not part of the name of the database. That's the publisher. They publish lots of different databases. When you start typing the name of the database into the box, you'll get a drop-down menu. Make sure that you're choosing the right name from the drop-down menu. And in fact, even if it doesn't appear in the drop-down menu, just type what you know is the correct answer. Next, we'll look for the database publisher. So just like with a website, for the publisher, you're looking for a company name. And here it is, right up here, ABC Clio. It sounds like a company name. It's a logo, you can tell because it has that little funny picture in there. So ABC Clio is the company that publishes this database. Now we'll look for the date when the article was published. For this you can look at the top or the bottom. It's not at the top, so we'll come down to the bottom. And unfortunately there's no copyright symbol on this database, so you have to look in their little citation example. And here it is, they just give you 2013. Just like with websites, we are leaving the date of access just set to today. That's the last day that you looked at this database. And we are not going to paste in the URL for databases. That's different from websites. And the reason is because database URLs are these really long things with some like nonsensical characters, and it's not helpful to have that URL pasted into your citation. So we're going to leave the URL blank and move on to the author. You'll look for the author at the top, or you could look for the author at the bottom. And you're looking for a person's name. Now, you might not see one, and in fact in ABC Clio there is usually not an author, in which case you can just leave it blank. Do not cite these guys. Further reading or bibliography, that's the bibliography of this article. So just like you have to do a bibliography, this is their bibliography. You didn't read those sources, so you're not citing those sources. So there's no specific author for this article, so we're going to leave that blank and move on to the title of the article, which there definitely will be. The article title is just where you'd expect it to be, right at the top of the article. In this case, it's just cabinet. So there you go. You have the name of the database. You have the publisher of the database. You've left the date of access set to today. You have the date of ePublication. You do not have a URL. You looked for an author but couldn't find one. And you have an article title. So you can go up here and click Submit. And yay, there's your beautiful citation.